Okay, so we are going to continue with our shapeshifter project, and we're going to open up the code here, and let's look at phase 3. We've nailed down the first two phases, and we want to add buttons in phase 3 to toggle between circle, square, and for solid outline. So let's go down to our variable list, and I'm going to label this phase 3 variables. And we are going to have to add a couple of buttons. So we're going to do a private button circle square. And we're going to have one also that's called solid outline. Notice no spaces in our variable names. And we need to have booleans that will control this. So private boolean is circle and is solid. All right, so those are our booleans that we want to use, and that will definitely help us. Okay, so next up, we go down to our init, and we have circle, square, and solid outline. Okay, so we're going to go down to our init, and then we're going to add a little note here. Start phase 3. And our first one was called circle square. So we're going to say circle square equals new button circle slash square. We can have the slashes in our string literal that appears on the button. We're going to circle square dot add action listener this. And finally add circle square. That puts it on the screen. We're going to do the same thing with our other button, solid outline. So we're going to say solid outline equals new button quotes solid slash outline. We're going to solid outline dot add action listener this, and finally we will add solid outline. And let's compile this. See how we're looking, no errors, that's great. And we have to give our initial values, our initial Boolean values, well actually values. So we're going to start off with is circle equals true, because initially we want to draw circles. And is solid also equals true, right? Because initially our circle is solid, and initially we are drawing a circle, right? Not a square. Okay, that's going to come when the is circle value is false. Okay, so now we're going to go down to our paint. And we're going to go down to our paint, and we're going to adjust what we paint, because now it's not going to be as simple as drawing an oval every time, or a circle every time. We're going to have to vary it based on the value of our Boolean values. So I'm actually going to get rid of these comments. I think we're good with these, just to clear things up. Nah, you know what? I like leaving it. We'll leave it there. And we're going to add an if statement at the beginning of our paint. And we're going to say if is circle equals true, we are going to do our code for circles. Okay, so that's like the fill oval, that's good. But it's not always going to be fill oval. We have to test if we're dealing with a solid or an outline. So if is solid equals true, now we're ready to do these items, these things. I'll tab over the old comments, and I will close out this curly bracket. I'm going to close out this outer one so I don't forget. And then the alternative, so we're inside this if the is circle. So our alternative in here is to g dot draw oval x comma y comma size comma size. Okay, and now actually while I'm thinking of it, I want to take the color. I want all of our shapes to be blue. It's a nice color. So we're going to cut this out of here, and before any if statement, I'm going to paste that there. So the color will always be blue. And then we will leave that there. So if we have a circle, and if it's solid, we're going to make it, we're going to fill the oval, else we will draw the oval. And then we go for the outer, we go outside that overall if statement, and we set up an else. We essentially do the same thing that we have in here, but we'll type it. We could cut and paste or copy and paste and just edit, but I think it's better to copy it, to actually type it in here. So we're going to say if is solid equals true. Instead of filling an oval, we will fill a rect. G dot fill rect x comma y comma size comma size. And else we will g dot draw rect x comma y comma size comma size. So that will fill or draw rectangles based on the value of our Boolean. But as of now, our is circle and is solid will always be true. So if we were to run this now, we'll compile now just to make sure everything's good, and it is. We would always have filled in ovals because that's all it knows how to do right now. But at this time, we want to edit our action performed and have our buttons do something. Our circle, square buttons, and our outline, our solid outline button. So we go down to the action performed, and we're going to say here, we're going to just add another if statement. If e.getSource equals circle square. So we've clicked on that button. We're going to change our Boolean value. So the most efficient way, code-wise at least, to change the Boolean value, we're going to say is circle equals not. So that's the exclamation point, is circle. So what this does, this changes true to false, or vice versa. Whatever the Boolean value currently is, it flips it to the other one. And then of course we would repaint. The repaint gets called at the end of this method. And then we'll put in if e.getSource equals, see that was for circle square, we're going to have solid outline. And that was the name of our other button. And we will change our Boolean value just like we did the last time. Is solid equals not is solid. I don't need to put another comment because we already explained what that did up here. It changes true to false or vice versa. We can compile this, and it does work. So now let's test it out and really see if it works. So we will run our applet, and I'll just move this into view here. So we have nothing really fancy here. We'll just say OK. Our applet viewer, to move this down where we can see it, comes up here. So we have our, let's just cut right to the chase, circle square. What do you know? Becomes a square, back to circle, to square, to circle. And the solid outline works also. That's great. And even if we have solid, we have a outline circle, changes to an outline square, then we can change it to solid. And now we can change that back to this. We can see this is working. Back to circle. We can make it bigger, and then the solid outline will work. Circle square goes back and forth, and the down and the up and the left and right had no changes And so everything is working just perfectly. So that finishes out phase three rather. We call in phase three, we wanted to add buttons to toggle between circle and square and solid and outline. And success, we did it. So that concludes this lesson on how to create toggle buttons and to use Booleans to help control what we draw. Next time we will look at our phase 4 and adding calculations to our display, to our applet. See you then.